All right, DJKO, aka Kevin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How you doing,
Hey,
man?
man, how you doing, bro?
Oh man, good, doing all right, man. Not a bad day here in Florida, man. Welcome. How you feeling today, bro?
Feeling good, man.
Feeling good?
Yeah,
Feeling good?
it's nice out. Summertime, first day of summer.
Oh,
So.
well, glad to be sitting here chatting with you. Getting to letting the people get to know you a little bit. Man, I'll say this: I'm super excited that I got to meet you the last couple years. You are a breath of fresh air for with this team. I mean, I think you came on this team and really like kind of like ignited another love for this thing called DJing. So, man, I want to get to know you a little bit. Let the people get to know you a little bit. So, just starting out, man. Where the heck you come from? Where you from, man? How'd you end up here in Florida, bro?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I'm actually a first generation born. My family's from St. Lucia.
Brooklyn?
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
So, parents from St. Lucia?
Yes. Actually, my entire family's from St. Lucia.
Okay.
Yeah, so first person in my family to be born in the States. Moved down to Fort Myers when I was 12, and just
Dang.
so even though Brooklyn is my home, like Fort Myers is my home.
How
Yeah,
long were
Fort
you in
Myers is my
Brooklyn, you
home.
said?
12 years.
12
Yeah.
years. What was that like as far as obviously Brooklyn has all kinds of layers, but
Mhm.
like musically, what was that like growing up for you? What was the vibes?
So I didn't listen to a lot of hip hop growing up because my family being from St. Lucia and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of calypso, a lot of soca,
Island vibes,
yes, a lot of
soca.
reggae. But growing up in Brooklyn, you're gonna get exposed to everything. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So and especially growing up in Brooklyn in the '80s, going into the
Ooh.
'90s.
Yeah.
So music was high on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere you went, the radio was playing. So you
For
always got
sure.
exposed to everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So you hearing all that music, you going to the bodega, you getting the chopped cheese. Oh, did they have chopped cheese now?
They did, of
Yeah,
course.
you got
Oh
the
yeah,
chopped cheese, you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So then 12 years old, where did you go from there?
So moved down to Fort Myers, Florida, 12. So I actually started sixth grade down here. And then after that, I've just been here since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
was there all right, so you probably had the same culture shock for me when it
Uh-huh.
came to like hearing East Coast New York music, even like reggae is big in New York, all that stuff. And then you
Hmm.
come down, you hear like
Yes.
Southern hip hop, country. I mean, you getting rock, So
All of
like,
it.
what was the musical culture shock? Did that happen to you at all?
It did, especially when it came to the hip hop. So growing up in Brooklyn, of course, Biggie was big.
Right.
Tupac, all that stuff. Then when I came down here, it was 69 Boys.
It's like,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Tootsie Roll and all that stuff. And I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan at all.
Uncle Luke,
Uncle Luke,
Trick Daddy.
Uncle Al, all that stuff. So it was a big shock. But then also with the top 40 music,
Yeah.
because the top 40 music in Brooklyn and the top 40 music down
yeah.
here is completely different.
Different.
So I got exposed to like Green Day,
Yeah.
Spice Girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, even like, I remember the first time I heard System of a Down. Do you remember?
I do.
I remember,
Yes.
first off, when I moved to here, it was like skating, going in the pools, like very like what you see in movies. And I remember my
Absolutely.
boys putting me on to this station called 99X, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a rock station, and it was like System of a Down, Green Day,
Yes, all that.
all the Papa Roach, like it was like all the like grunge rock,
Mm-hmm.
and then like Linkin Park and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it was, to me, I was like, I loved it. I loved like being able to be like, oh, I've never heard of any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like it's a part of who I am. Do you feel like that
It
opened
is.
you up to
It is.
more?
Definitely, because like with just with music like that, it always brings me back to my childhood, right? So like a Green Day record would come on, like Basket Case would come on. I'm like, oh my goodness, it reminds me of rollerblading.
What's the song? I walked the lonely road. Is that Green Day?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a DJ. I should know that. But.
Yeah. But that it just reminds me of my childhood. So kind of like you said, the roller skating ring. And then be able to do that in the summer, because being in Brooklyn, you only had a short period where you could enjoy being outside and stuff.
Yeah.
And coming down here, a lot of that music kind of translate to summertime or wintertime or just being down here in Florida. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man. So you're in Florida. I mean, So what did you when you got here? What is like? Can you remember your first, even before you got here? Like, can you remember your first like favorite rapper, favorite artist? Who would you grow up to? Like going like you had the poster in your bedroom type of vibe. Like
So the thing with music, especially in my family, I can't even think of a time where everybody has that one moment where music kind of connects to them. For me, music was just always there. You know what I'm saying? So like, the only time that we never played music in the house was when we was watching TV. So music was just always playing. So like, but my favorite, as a kid, one of my favorite hip hop artists was, Biggie.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
of
saying?
course.
Because he's from Brooklyn and stuff like that, and always listen to him.
Best
But
Iverson
yeah,
alive.
all that, yeah. But it was like I said, it was just like even thinking about it now, it just wasn't a time where I was just like, he's my favorite artist. Like, he was a great artist,
Right,
but
right, right.
it was just a long line of
Of just music. You
just
just came
music.
from
Always, yeah,
yeah.
just with music.
So you go from this love of music, surrounded by music. When the heck did you start DJing? Like how did that? I want to know. Like how do you translate that into DJing?
So I didn't actually start DJing until later on in life, right? Got done with college, did the Air Force, and then had an opportunity to DJ on my deployment, right? Learn how to DJ on my deployment. So
You learn, wait. You learned how to DJ on your deployment?
on my deployment.
At the base?
At the base. So we had a situation
Yo.
where Jazzy Jeff came to our base and he did a set. And if anybody that knows about Jazzy Jeff, especially in the DJ community, he's like the godfather of
course.
DJing. So he came in, did a set. The next day, I bought everything, right? Bought my laptop, brought my controller.
Will you put the mailing address to the base?
To the base, yeah.
Oh, that's
So,
lit.
yeah, so did all that. Before all my stuff got there, I actually bought a book, right? The how to, the dummy series, how to, how to,
DJing
whatever
for
for
dummies.
dummies, yes. Read the whole book before all my equipment got there. And then when my equipment got there, I knew how to DJ
In your head.
in my head. The concept made sense because with those books, it just breaks down everything to the T, right?
Whoa.
So when I got all my equipment, I knew how to DJ, but I didn't know how to use the equipment, right? So then I had to go on YouTube. Took me like 15 hours to learn how to plug everything up or whatever. But so all that knowledge I had with music, throughout the years, just translated right into DJing,
Damn, bro, I've never heard of like someone getting all the head knowledge and then
exactly.
that's actually really really cool because it's one of those things that shows you like no, you have to get the hours in to learn.
A lot of hours.
You got to get the hour.
A lot of hours.
There's information, and then there's knowledge.
Facts.
And I feel like knowledge is like applied information.
Facts. Mm-hmm.
You apply the information, and now you have the knowledge, the muscle memory. So that's dope, man.
Yeah.
So you started DJing. Were you like DJing parties on the base? Like, did you?
So the funny thing is, my very first gig was an international gig in Abu Dhabi. Right, it was a pool party.
Excuse me. Hold on.
Party. So
my first was at the little Lavanizia banquet hall.
yeah. So I got lucky. So I think I was 3 weeks in. My supervisor at the time, she was like, "Hey, we're about to throw a party for a base. You're a DJ now. You got the equipment. Let's put you out there." So very first gig, and this was for. I think at the time we had like 20 different countries on, 20 different military.
Countries on
base and all that stuff. From just all over the world, whatever. And they came to the pool party, right? So I'm playing everything that I could think of that could accommodate for all these people from all over the country and stuff. So playing your hip hop, you're playing your top 40 stuff, whatever. Some reggae, some dance hall. You know what I'm saying? Some. I think I had a couple Arabic songs because
Indian, Russian, German, like what?
Yeah. So first gig, right? Very first gig. So it was nerve wracking, but then I had all my military friends there and stuff. But
it's like, bro, what you're explaining to me is the hardest first gig ever. One, military people who are like, I don't know, I'm just assuming they're like a little bit of a hard, tough crowd.
Always.
And then international, different countries.
Yes.
In Abu Dhabi, like, yo, that sounds, so it's like baptism by fire, bro.
Yes,
like
it was nuts. But then everything after that, it was easy after that.
I mean, sure.
After the first one, it was right off the rip, international DJ. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
shout out. Oh man, that's dope. That's dope. So that means so do you feel like, I mean, it sounds like your experience from as a child, moving, Army base, being exposed to cultures, it sounds like you kind of understand how to rock like a party or a wedding or whatever event with
Hmm.
the diverse amount of people.
Absolutely.
Can you speak to that at all? Like, do you have is there an enjoyment that comes with kind of rocking the party with different cultures?
Absolutely. To be able to walk into a room, and especially like for a wedding, for example, right? For nobody really knows who you are or whatever. You're kind of playing for the crowd or whatever. But to play a song that somebody's not even thinking of, you know what I'm saying? Or like, for me, I'm a hip hop DJ, but then when I'm playing and I play a Latin track or Afrobeat track or Moombaton or anything like that, everybody's like how does he know that? You know what I'm saying? Like where
I
is this
told
coming
you I
from? Yeah,
was gonna be
exactly.
here.
So then now they're just like, oh my goodness, like he knows what he's
Yeah,
doing. You know what I'm saying? And to see their enjoyment on their face when they always kind of like, yo, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But then also to see like complete strangers high
yeah,
five each other and stuff like, yo,
yeah,
like, oh my,
bro.
that's the
You
thing
know,
right
say
there.
music is like a love language. Like I
Mm,
feel like, if you're in another country and that you don't didn't speak your language, and then all of a sudden you meet someone that speaks your language, all of
mm-hmm.
a sudden you're like, oh,
Yes,
okay, you feel
yes,
safe, you feel seen, you feel heard, and I
absolutely.
feel like that's what happens with music on
Hmm.
on the dance floor on sets. Is like people go, oh, you see me,
Yes,
you hear me, you
yes,
know I'm here. You're now,
absolutely.
and that point they give you, and you're like I got you,
And
done.
that
I
point is
got.
it's international. Like anywhere, like any place that you play at, whether that's in the States or overseas, that point when they're just like,
Yeah.
yo, you know what I'm saying? That is
Yeah.
like, and it kind of brings the tension in the room down, especially with the people that don't know if they are
Yeah.
seen. You know what I'm saying? So,
Man, no, that's so good, man. I think that is what I love about. I mean, watching your set and hearing you in different places, whether it's local club or whatever,
hmm,
you just have a way of layering sounds and layering genres and cultures together where you're throwing like Avril Lavigne and you go from that to like underneath like a another beat, a Moombathon beat or something. Like
hmm.
it's just like, yo, you're hitting so many different cultures and vibes at once, and I think that's something you're really freaking good at.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
And I think another thing is like, I think you understand because you're in like you're out playing. You're
Yes.
not just doing weddings and
Hmm.
private events. Like during the week, you're like you're with people all the
All the
time.
time.
So you're
All the
tapped
time.
into the new stuff. You're
Hmm.
tapped into what always works, and I think that's such a good mixture. Can you speak to a little bit about what that experience is like and like your circuit that you have right now and how that kind of like informs what you do, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, so weekly, playing Wednesday, Thursday, well, three times a week. But also playing an open format set for an open format crowd. You get exposed to a lot of stuff, and it's never the same. So one Thursday to another Thursday would be completely different because
Yeah.
obviously, Fort Myers being a tourism spot, people from all over the world come here. So people always come and request different things, right?
Yeah.
So, and it works, you know what I'm saying? So somebody that comes from, let's say, Chicago, they want to hear some old school Chicago house, right? Play some of that. Somebody from Fort Myers would probably never heard that before. And they're like,
Can you
okay,
feel it?
yeah, so,
Feel it?
so again,
Oh.
so that goes into the repertoire. And again, somebody maybe from, let's say Kenya comes through, you know what I'm
Whoa.
saying?
Whoa. What do you do
There,
then, my friend?
yeah, so I got a story about that, but just the different people coming in from all over the country requesting stuff and feeling the vibe and getting introduced to new stuff and old stuff, whatever the case is, it just makes everything just fun, man. Like
Yeah,
it just
man.
makes everything super interesting and always you got to be kept on your toes, especially with all the new music coming out as well too.
Yeah.
So you always got to keep up with that, but it's always a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of weddings specifically, when you were working with couples, like, what's your favorite part about the process when it comes to doing a wedding, man? Like, do you enjoy that process? What's your favorite part of that? Whether it's music prep or whether it's talking with them or whether it's day of or like what's your favorite part of the process when you
So
do a
it's
wedding?
actually just getting to know the couple,
Yeah.
right? Because when usually the weddings I've done in the past has always been a referral.
Yeah.
Right. So getting to know the couple, getting to learn, the kind of music they listen to when they're at home, when they're partying, what they listen to in high school or college, what they listen to with their friends. To get to learn that and then get to the end of when everything is over and done with, and then the relationship continues, right? So I do have a lot of couples that still to this day, like when I go out to Colorado or Wyoming, they pull up, they come to my shows, and we talk on Instagram and Facebook all the time. We text, Christmas cards, Thanksgiving, birthdays. They ask about the kids, I ask about their kids, and so just being able to just build a actual genuine relationship with these couples is actually really fun.
Yeah, it's dope, man.
Yeah, the partying, the actual wedding and the reception and stuff is fun. Don't get me wrong, but again, it's the building the relationship.
Like a lifelong connection with these two other humans.
Yes.
You were part of like their special moment in their life, man. That's one of my favorite things, bro. It's like seeing them like 5 years later with kids, seeing them 10 years later, you have multiple business or whatever it is. It's like, oh, you guys moved here, you're doing this. You're like, man, I was a part of that journey, man.
Exactly.
And that is really dope. So like speaking of family and stuff and, connection and this more meaningful part, like why do you, other than the love of it, what's your motivation and the why of what you do? Like, what's your motivation, man?
It's my kids.
Yeah.
It's my kids. I have 3 boys. I'm sorry, 3 girls and a boy. And they only know that I DJ. They don't know that I've done anything else. Wow. Right? So for them, it's like that is a DJ. Yeah. And they're young now, but when they get older, they're going to be like, well, how did Daddy,
how did he get
for all these years, all he did was DJ or whatnot. So basically, the reason why I do what I do is to kind of show them that anything that they enjoy in life and they have a passion for, you could do it at a high level if you put a lot of work in.
Yeah.
And they see that. Well, they know that.
Yeah.
And they'll appreciate it down the road, but that's my motivation right there. And of course my wife, but it's really the kids.
Absolutely.
It's the kids.
That legacy, bro.
Yes.
At the end of the day, showing them, carving out this path. I love it, man. That's so dope. And one of the last questions I have for you before we get out of here is there like craziest story you have of like a wedding, preferably, but even an event, maybe the Kenyan story, I don't know. But just give me one of the craziest moments you had as a DJ, bro. Like anything crazy that you can remember?
As a DJ, well, we'll go to the Kenyan.
Okay, go ahead. Give me that one.
So the Kenyan wedding, it was for a friend, right? It was actually, it was a friend that I knew in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So if anybody doesn't know anything about Cheyenne, Wyoming, that's basically like the Wild West, right?
Okay.
Country music, that's all they know. So I get booked for this Kenyan wedding, right? And I was just like, all right, cool. I got a couple of Afro beats and all that stuff, and cool. I'm good with that. So we did the ceremony, go to the reception and stuff. And again, they gave me a list, and we prepped. I felt that I was super prepared for this wedding, until the mom gets a little liquor in her, and she's requesting all kind of Kenyan. I've never even heard before.
In their language and everything.
And I'm just like, so had to go to Spotify. You know what I'm saying? And type
YouTube,
in
whatever.
Top, whatever. So while I'm DJing, I'm over here on YouTube pulling this, pulling that, and then she's like, oh, that was great. Oh, high five, throwing money and stuff. Then she comes back, oh, I need that. And so it was just the whole night, just basically, catering to her. At this point, it didn't matter about the bride and groom. It was just about her. And the bride and groom was cool with that because they knew, that's her personality and stuff, whatever. Yeah. So at the end of the night, she pulls me to the side and she was like, that was probably one of the best weddings I've ever been to. And she's like, thank you. She still calls me to this day, texts me to this day. Oh, you know what I'm saying? The couple I still hear from, but I hear from the mom. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that's how, even culturally, I'm Nigerian. And that, the wedding's about the bride and groom, but it's about the family.
It's about the family, yes. 100%.
They do 2 weddings too. Nigerians at least do. And so sometimes that first wedding's about the family, the second one's about the bride and groom.
Exactly.
So you gotta, but it's about knowing that. You had to know, like, you have to be able to improvise and go, I gotta go to Spotify. Like, it's the do whatever it takes mentality.
Facts.
Because you can't be like, well, I don't have that song.
No,
bro, I'll pull it off a thin air. I don't care. I'm gonna get the people.
Yes.
I'm gonna make it happen. I love that. I love that you did that.
You got to.
But that pressure,
Look,
that pressure when a tipsy mom or dad is putting that like, hey, play, you know, and you got that pressure. You're like, all right,
yes, I got you.
I got you.
While catering to everybody else.
While catering to
And
everyone
the
else.
thing is, like, everybody had a blast. They had a blast. And it was a Kenyan/American wedding. So, of course, I had to cater to, you know, the American side as well, too. But the bride and groom was just happy that the mom was happy. You know what I'm saying? For that particular situation. And that's really all that mattered. And at the end of the day, they had a great time. They had an amazing time.
That's all that matters, man. Yeah. Well, no, thanks for being on, bro. I appreciate it. Before we get out of here, I got one question. Requires 5 answers. I need your Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore's 4, right? Or 5?
Let's do 5. I
want 5 favorite artists of all time.
All times. Okay.
You don't have to put it in any order.
First one, Beanie Man. Right off the rip.
Oh,
that is my favorite. That is my favorite artist of all time. I don't care what nobody says.
Okay.
Right? Second, I'm gonna go with Biggie.
Okay.
You got your Jay-Z.
Jay.
Okay.
2 in hip hop, 1 in dancehall.
Yes. You got Kaytranada.
Ooh.
Right?
How would you if you haven't heard of Kaytranada, just go.
Yes.
Kaytranada.
Yes.
Just go look.
He's a vibe. Trust me, he is a vibe. And the last one, I'm gonna say Gold Link. So Gold Link is an artist from the DMV.
Yeah.
And if you've never been to the DMV, it is a straight vibe.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Gold Link, I think, created his own sound. Like, I don't know anyone who has the cadence, flow,
all that
vibe, and which Kaytranada and Gold Link have some.
They do
some good music together.
They do. And then honorable mention, I'm gonna go with Outkast, the group, not just. I could say Andre 3000 or Big Boy, but them as a group, they're honorable mention. Yeah.
No, I mean that's a very a big honorable mention for sure. But I love it, man. I think that's a really eclectic. That makes sense for you.
Yes,
I like that. Really, I thought you were gonna throw in like a rock, something way out Wyoming like. But
and I do. I have a couple of those too. But like,
top 5.
Yeah, that's what top 5. Yeah.
KO. Appreciate you,
Appreciate you, boss.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
thanks for telling people your story, and excited for every single client that gets to work with you, man, because you're different, bro, and you one of those, bro. So
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir.